guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I'm going to go ahead and start this off with a trigger warning. This is going to be a Scientology video, so if you don't like the content, or you don't like my presentation or my voice, you might want to click off this video, or, tune into some of my other less offensive videos, like my beauty videos, or, maybe not watch any videos on my channel if you're not a fan of my presentation. Anyway, guys, let me just get into the content of this video. I've been watching a lot of things. I haven't put up a lot of Scientology videos lately because I've been doing a lot of research, reading books, watching videos, cruising websites, and I am working on my secret project for you guys that I'm not ready to expose yet. Anyway, one of the themes has been Marty Rathbun. And so I decided the other night, it's like, keep hearing about Marty. Let me check it out. So I went to Marty's page and I started watching his videos. And I watched a lot of his videos, mainly because they're so short. So let me get into this. So his videos, from what I see, are broken into kind of three main segments. So the first segment of videos are these videos that are this blue background. He's sitting there in a suit. It's a dark colored suit with a blue shirt. I watched all of those videos. There's 21 of those. And then there's the second set, which has this kind of yellow background. And it looks like the exact same suit. So I don't know if he just like got up and moved rooms. There's 14 of those videos. I've watched all those. Then there's this third set, which has this like brown background with bookcase. It appears he changed suits. I could be mistaken, but it does appear like he changed into a brown jacket, same shirt. I haven't watched any of those yet, but so I'm going to cover the two segments that I watched. My thoughts, kind of breaking those down. So, my main thought is that, well, he seems jealous. He mainly seems jealous that he doesn't have a TV show, is the feeling I get. It seems like because it's not Marty Rathbun and the aftermath is why he's so mad. I'm not going to say that he doesn't come with his own like set of receipts. Like he has some paperwork that he's reading from. I don't know if the like putting glasses on, taking glasses off is supposed to be like a dramatic effect or anything, but he does do that a lot. But let me just break this down for you. There are 21 videos in this first segment. I'm going to start with the blue background. There are 21 videos in this segment. The longest video is 14 minutes and 25 seconds. The rest of them are like 2 minutes and 19 seconds, 3 minutes and 46 seconds, 1 minute 22 seconds. I mean, they're like short segments. And I really get the feel that like somebody sat down with him and he just started ranting. And then they went, he sounds like a madman. What should we do with this? Oh, he makes some points that make fun of them. So we're going to take this video and we're going to break it up. So it's like they took a very long video and then they made 21 segments and threw up 21 videos. Now, all of these were, like every one of these, even the ones in the yellow background, even the ones with the brown background were all posted over a year ago. So it's like they did like all these long videos and then they just broke them up into these little bitty segments and threw them all up. It's very strange to me, because he went from being Mr. Anti-Scientology, you're speaking out against Scientology. You even did a video where you admitted that you were the one covering up for that poor girl's death in Clearwater on the direct orders from David Miscavige, and you were blowing the cover on that, to now you are talking mad trash, and I mean mad trash, about anybody that's speaking out about Scientology. It's like complete 180, and it's like, And then the more you look into the background, it's like, hold on, this isn't your first time. You blew Scientology right after they got their tax-free status, and then you came back, and then you blew again, and then you came back, and then you blew again, and now it kind of seems like you've gone back, but kind of in on the DL, you're talking mad trash about the people that are trying to expose Scientology, and they still have their hate website up about you, and you still have your blog up about them, but you're kind of taking up for them. It doesn't make any sense. It really truly doesn't make any sense. It makes you look like a puppet. In a lot of videos, he even has one titled Ventriloquist Dummies. I have a big problem with saying that word, but it makes you sound like the ventriloquist dummy. Does somebody have their hand up your ass is the real question. Marty Rathbun. Now, let me get into the content, because I'm just kind of talking trash myself. The content is really disturbing in and of itself, because okay, he does have some receipts. He acts like he has no personal relationship with Mike Rinder, even though he's known Mike Rinder for years upon years upon years upon years. He just calls him Rinder. Rinder. Rinder, yeah. And he tries to put everything on Mike Rinder. He's like, well, Rinder was in charge of that. Where was Rinder? Rinder was in charge of that. Well, where was Rinder? Well, you were in charge of a lot of things too, so where were you? One of the things that got me was talking about the suicide thing. Where's that? The episode in which they were talking about the man committing suicide, and him and his wife were in the Sea Org, and he committed suicide. They came and got her and told her, and then made her go back to work. She didn't have any time to mourn, anything like that. And he's putting this man down. Yes, he was going out to clubs, and that's not allowed. He's a kid, 18, 19, 20 years old. That's what you do. I'm sorry. That's what I did. That's what a lot of people I know did. That's what kids do. At that age, you're making mistakes. You're screwing up. You're finding out who you are, really. And if he was bisexual, or even if he was gay, and he was even he was selling himself, he was prostitute. Okay. Really and truly, he's dead now. Let that shit lie. But it's called Remini's Suicide Trip. This is the longest video of that section. It's 14 minutes and 25 seconds, where he's pretty much bashing a dead guy and bashing Leah Remini. And he's like, well, Leah cuts her off and starts implanting the story into her head. No, this woman lived that. That was her husband. She lived that. She knows what happened. She knows what she was feeling, and she knows what happened around that time, and she knows what Scientology did to her. She doesn't need anybody to implant shit into her head. Okay? Sorry, point blank. Another thing is like, okay, take for instance his episode called Paul Haggis Hypocrisy. That's pretty much a 6-minute and 22-second episode in which he is just calling Paul Haggis names like little bitch, spineless, things like that. That makes you sound angry, vindictive, jealous, petty. I mean, it doesn't really prove a point when you're calling somebody a little bitch. Now, here's my favorite. Like, he has this whole thing about the trifecta. Or he calls them something else. I can't remember the name of it, but he's talking about Leah Remini, Mike Rinder, and Tony Ortega. He even has an episode that's 3 minutes and 28 seconds long where it's called Backpage Tony Ortega. And that's what he calls Tony Ortega most of the time. And he mentions Tony Ortega a lot. One of the things was, well, he has no training in Scientology. He has no experience with Scientology. He can't have an opinion. Okay, well, I don't have any training in Scientology. I've never been a Scientologist, and I have a very big opinion on Scientology. And that is because I've done a lot of reading, and I have ears, and I have emotions, and I can hear these people's stories, and I can feel empathy for them. I can see what it has done to them. And I can also read this stuff and see that it doesn't make any sense. And I can read stories from other people outside of the United States. This isn't just a United States problem. This is a worldwide issue. There are stories from England, Australia, all over the freaking world talking about disconnection and sexual abuse and bankruptcy and all the problems connected to Scientology. And it's just insanity. He pretty much calls Mike Rinder a puppet, talking about how he is just rubber stamping Leah Remini's agenda, and he's just bobblehead to anything that Leah Remini makes up. Well, what you forget, Marty Rathbun, is that Leah Remini was in Scientology from a child. And she worked in Scientology. She's just not some celebrity off the street like Tom Cruise. She was in it as a child and then became a celebrity. Two different things. Now, let's also address this. He started talking about the children in Scientology. Well, that happened 30 years ago. We phased that out in the 80s. That's irrelevant. Very flippant about it. But there are still people alive that live that. And they have stories to tell. And they want to tell them. So you can't just brush somebody's story off because you phased that out in the 80s. Okay, well, if you want to go there with it, let's talk about the forced abortions that are still going on in the Sea Org. What was that? What was that? Oh, you don't want to talk about that. Okay. Gotcha. And, like, some of his things are just mind-blowing. He pretty much just takes every episode and just tries to flush it down the toilet and talk about how it's unreality TV. So pretty much it's like Scientology came to him and said, okay, Marty Rathbun, say this. And he sits down in front of a camera and rants. And then they chop it up into these little segments so he doesn't sound like a complete madman and post them. And that's all of these episodes sound like the same thing. It's just him ranting about little things, and it's like as soon as he starts getting worked up, it's chopped off. And that goes even for this other segment, these other segments with him with the yellow background. It's like as soon as he starts getting worked up, chop it off. And these ones with the yellow background are even shorter. Like these things are like a minute, 2 minutes. I think the longest one in here is 5 minutes, 58 seconds long. That tells you right there that he cannot control himself for very long at all. Not for very long at all. So the section that I haven't covered yet is where he's talking about the Going Clear movie. But there's been interviews out there that I have watched about these segments in which they're talking about he's trying to say that he had no part in directing. But there are pictures where they're showing him giving people direction in the whole scene of the Going Clear movie, where they're like, you know, yes, do this, and you. So yes, you had an active part in that. Quit trying to deny your active part of being an anti-Scientologist. Just now because you're sucking up to Scientology again, stop trying to deny that you are an anti-Scientologist for a period. In the end, all of these videos lead up to one thing. They all lead up to one thing. And it's he's jealous that he's not the one that the spotlight was put on. He's jealous that the spotlight was put on Leah Remini and Mike Rinder. He's jealous that these public Scientologists are being featured in the TV show, and that they're not banging down his door and asking for his exclusive information, or for him to be a creative director, or for him to be there all the time. That's what it pretty much wraps up to be. And so he has turned tail, ran back to Scientology, started sucking their ass again, and bashing anti-Scientologists. So that's my conclusion on all the Marty Rathbun videos that I've watched. I'm going to watch the rest of them because, to tell you the truth, they're quite entertaining to listen to a madman just lose his shit. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell. If you have any comments on the Marty Rathbun situation, leave them down below, or look in the description box and leave them on my social media. If you have any other videos or books or articles that you want me to check out, leave them in the comments or send them to me on social media. I'm looking for new content, and I'm going to be working on my secret project some more, and I hope to be getting that out to you very shortly. Anyway, guys, I will see you on the next one. This is going to be all for this one. Bye for now.